They are angry because hot women. Wait, are we really doing this again? Journalists, grow up. This is pathetic. Collective Shout is working behind the scenes with Vice to get this cancelled. Allegedly, maybe, so buy your cosmetics fast before the credit card companies pull away your rights to own your own money. You would think a feminist group whose logo is a gaping butthole wouldn't be such raging butt pirates. Mecha BREAK is one of those weirdly great games that just does one thing that people want to do, but doesn't exactly stand out. Feels in the same vein as the first Descendant and hits a good appeal, but it's not genre defining. However, it is funny watching the gamer run an article saying the character creator controversy is made up, while also making a controversy because they're angry about the character creator. But hey, that's the game's media for you. If they didn't have double standards, they'd have no standards at all. Really though. Just think about that for a moment. They were quick on the trigger to start complaining about the sexy women, only to follow up by saying nobody's even talking about it. Nothing but lies and gaslighting from the mainstream misinformation media. Women like sexy men. Men like sexy women. Uh-oh, did I just commit a wrong think? Guess that makes me a certified insert list of phobes and ists, and that one group that did the thing a long time ago. Astonishing. Truly a breakthrough. We have rediscovered the wheel on fire yet again. Notice how the most attractive girls in gaming are still from decades ago. Jill Valentine, Ada Wong, Lara Croft, Samus, Tifa, Chun-Li, Zelda? Did I just call Zelda a woman? Does that anger you, persons of DEI? Games artists, what? Did you forget how to make lovable, memorable characters in the last couple decades? There is zero reason for this game to even have a character creator, much less one that allows people to make characters they want, rather than heavily curated towards the tastes of people who hate games, but earn you some of that valuable ESG credit score. And it is way too in-depth for a game like this. This is like a 7 out of 10 on the Black Desert Online scale. Not gonna rant on why an almost 10-year-old game still has gaming's best customization system, as tempting as it would be. So why does it even have one? Why does it allow you to make really busty, thick ladies? Because gamers like it. Case closed. That's it. There's no purpose. This is truly an innovation in gaming history. Putting things into video games that people who like video games want to have in the games, even if they do not have a purpose, in a heavily curated communist society where you will like what they tell you to and you will own nothing. And that's the problem. Notice how so many journalists love to use the, what is even the purpose? Why is she in heels? She couldn't fight in that outfit. That is unpractical armor. Where are her organs? How can she even breathe? You know, the same typical nonsense from people who can't tell fiction from reality, who will gnash their teeth over anime girls, then goon over weird Netflix shows that exploit real-world children. Games might start being made for people who play games again. Well, until Visa shuts it down, of course. Don't worry, we'll be talking about how the corrupt monopoly cartel is trying to destroy anime and gaming very soon, very often, working together to become the biggest threat to gaming and anime, and that's not an exaggeration. A bigger threat than Ubisoft, Disney, a bigger threat than corrupt activists threatening HR departments to give them what they want. A bigger threat than the journalist consultant cartel, where journalists would sell good reviews to corporations who paid their consultant friends to ruin their games. And the reason is simple. Because you can choose not to play Ass Creed Yasuke game and go pick up a good game instead like Mecha BREAK. But there's no choice with the Visa MC cartel, because, well, that's what happens when there's an actual monopoly. And why they're bad, and why governments should break them up, and why it's bad that the governments instead supplement and support them, because in turn, they force censorship. Look, they tried to censor and control through DEI, threats, blackmail, sabotage, and it worked for a while, but when we caught on, and we had alternatives in the form of indie and AA games, and those few companies that decided they wanted to make games that people want to play, they realized that they couldn't censor and control us forever. So they went on to the next step, the payment processor route. This is all part of the plan. And if somehow this doesn't even work, we're about 2 steps away from a wall and some lead. But again, not yet. That's a silly topic with a bit more brain think required. This game could be pure mecha fights and it would be perfectly fine. The fan service choice does not change the gameplay. They'd be fine without ever leaving the cockpit. But this is that hunger I alluded to in previous videos that AA and indie studios have. Instead of the bare minimum, instead of looking at what they could do to make their games sell more, stand out, do better, and saying, well, we could make more money, we could have more success, we could sell more games. However, the game's journalists will be mad at us. So we better cut ourselves out at the knees. They are cutting out the destructive advice of journalists and consultants that brought the AAA from an iron grip over gaming to a complete freefall. And they're trying to do the unthinkable. Make video games that people who play video games will want to play. We are truly in the wildest of times. Did you think in the year of our Lord 2025, people would be trying to be successful by choice? Madness. This is truly Australian painter behavior. Huge fan of hotties in robots. Anyway, give it a try or don't. But look forward to more and more gamer-centric decision-making from the games industry from now on. They know it is working. We've seen the games that do fan service succeed over and over and over, while the games that attack the audience keep flopping. And this is going to make a much better gaming industry when games can be made to appeal to people without the fear of a puritanical purge from sinister whisper networks and blackmail by people who never liked games to begin with. Wu-Chang Fallen Feathers is coming soon too, and they openly said they are taking lessons from Stellar Blade. They're not even hiding it, so things are going to keep getting better. Unless, of course, the CC cartel decides it is time to put down our entertainment and go back to the mines. But you know who will never shut down gaming and send you to the mines? Like, comment, and subscribe, and to the journalists who cried and moaned for years about fan service, only for nobody to ever play the games made specifically for them, including themselves, I apologize for absolutely nothing.